what is up, everybody? Back at it again, man. NFT Pirates here with my good friend Mark. Guy has been invested into cryptocurrency since the early days. He used to tell me about it back in 2017, and I never moved on it quick enough. And yeah, he's involved in like a ton of different crypto projects, and I'm the one who told him about the Veve NFTs in the beginning, and he got invested. But there's still a few things that we're waiting for, but yeah, here he is, man. So Mark, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, thanks for the invite, Chad. And I will to this day never forget that text message I got from you saying, Mark, I don't have time to explain this. You just have to trust me. Download Veve and buy this TODD.
Yes, but you did though. That's
Best
what I was so
decision.
happy about.
One of the best decisions I've ever done, easily.
Amazing. Amazing. Yeah, man. I mean, I was so happy that you listened because hundreds of other people did it. So kudos to you, man.
Oh, they're probably, they're not sleeping well right now. I'll say that.
Yeah. How did you feel when the first time you saw this Batman looking thing? Were you like, what am I even looking at? Like, what was that feeling for you?
It was a strange feeling. Like, as you know, like we're very close. I was recently married. And my wife, who I love, I had to explain to her, like, this Batman is $80 US. I don't know what this is, but Chad's telling me to buy this. To get her on board was a little difficult, but it was just in that moment, I'm like, I know you wouldn't do this to me if you weren't sure about it.
Right.
And like, I knew you were very big into this NFT stuff. So like, you know what I mean? Like I trusted you.
Wow.
And it really paid off well. I'm still been holding on to the couple TODs that I bought. And yeah, you saw what the price is today. It's what, December 7th? What, 2,500 now, the TOD?
100. That's crazy.
Yeah,
It's like a 30x, bro. Like even in crypto,
easily.
that would still be an insane value proposition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't really see that much in crypto anymore, unless you're a very early adopter. And you know, I've been in crypto since 2017, so I've had quite a few roller coasters here and there, a few, 30 times and 50 times. But again, I was an early adopter. That was 2017, 2018.
Right.
It's 2021 now, and you were able to do that in March. And like I was able to do that too. So it's crazy. You know what I mean?
No kidding. And like what kind of wherewithal did you have to like find out about Ethereum back in 2017? Like how did you take the plunge back then when it was even like less normalized than now?
That's true. It's interesting because like I do browse like Reddit and like some other threads and a lot of other forums online, and I read about Bitcoin and Ethereum. I want to say as early as 2015, 2014, but there was just no way to get involved in Canada.
Wow.
So like I'm reading up about like Ethereum and it was 30 cents and things like that, and there's just no way to buy it. I'm reading up about all this hype, and I just kind of got frustrated, so I left it on the back burner for a bit. um, Moved forward to 2017, and I now see that there's like Coinbase, there's CoinSquare, there's a lot of other exchanges now available in Canada. And at that point, Ethereum has skyrocketed to
Yeah.
what, $300 in Ethereum now, 250, 300. I
Wow.
thought I missed the boat, but I still had faith in it. So, I threw a good chunk of my money in at that time. Ethereum's now what, almost 6,000 Canadian a coin. So yeah, I see that's what it is. So it was just like reading up on the tech and the blockchain behind it. You just knew that this was something special
Right.
back then. So I had to get in early. And same with this NFT stuff, this Veve company and like Ecomi. It's something special. This is something very unique. And just like myself, you're a very early adopter. You got in early and you're reaping the benefits, just like I did.
Yeah. There's something about just taking a plunge, Uh,
Exactly. Yeah, high risk, high reward kind of thing, right?
right. Man, that's really cool to hear. Like, I wish I was as smart as you back in the day because I got into cryptocurrency and dabbled into it, but like I'm just thinking about those gains. Like that's a 20x from back in the day, right? And I know Vivi's done like 20x on a lot of the collectibles as well. And
Mhm.
man, I really see like Vivi being that next blue chip, big company that's going to be like parallel to things like potentially like Amazon long term, because I'm like, man, they have literally every fucking blue chip almost in
Exactly.
the app. Like they just came out with 2 car companies today casually. Like, hey, guess
I
what? We're
saw
gonna
that.
be doing cars.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's ridiculous, man.
that's nuts. That's
Yeah,
nuts. And what you did what, a 20, 30 times from March of this year. I was holding on to Ethereum for 4 years now. You know what I mean?
true. Man, I
So
didn't think about that. Like, yeah, you're right. Time-wise, this is ridiculous. Like, if you bought the right stuff, like I always think about the guys that got like the Marvel comic #1 on the drop for $7 and it went to 50K. Like, can you imagine like that ROI is like Shiba Inu ROI. Like that just is unheard of.
unheard of. And what's funny is we're still early on this.
Yeah, it's
I
true.
still think we're early. What, Vv has crossed a million users recently. That's nothing compared to how many users are in crypto.
Dude, 1000%. And like in
Mhm.
NFTs in general, you're right. Like and to me it's so surprising because I'm like, we are just getting the biggest, baddest blue chips like Disney and like Marvel, and it's like we're almost like being left under the radar. Like, you know, like
Yeah,
like recently Lewis came in and started buying up a bunch of stuff, but I'm like, why isn't there not like another 500 guys like him by now? Right?
right. Yeah, yeah. It's a very good point. I think we're all in trouble when that happens, but
Yeah.
we're here now. We're here now. We're early enough, so let's just reap those rewards. Whatever the price is for whatever NFTs are on like Vv now, I think we're still early. You
Right.
know.
So I
Mhm.
got a few questions for you, Mark. Like, one thing that
Absolutely.
I always thought about is like, obviously you've got a lot of crypto that's just sitting there. And I know that you
Mhm.
obviously invested like a significant amount of money into Vv, but I know, we talked and you said you would be willing to do more, but there's still like a few things that obviously have to come into play, right? So I know that
Mhm.
like the cash out isn't here yet. I know that it hasn't been,
Mhm.
transitioned over to immutable. I know that you can't do like OMI to NFT, and these are all like concerns that people have out there. And I just think about you. Like whenever I think about this stuff, I think about you, and this is why I wanted to have you on because I'm like, I know you have a ton of crypto, and
Mhm.
I'm sure if those like bridges were more accessible and you could take a lot of ETH and just like buy things up without having to go through an escrow and risk, losing 10,
Right. Yeah.
that you'd probably be more willing to like go all in this platform. Am I wrong?
No, no, you're absolutely right, man. Like
Yeah.
I don't even know what else to say. Like the fact that this isn't decentralized is
Right.
really putting me off of BB for a long time. The fact that there's no way to cash out, we're putting in our own fiat into this. People are putting in their credit cards, people are putting in like whatever they make on their day-to-day hustles, they have to put into this app. There's no way to get any crypto in or out right now. There's a
Right.
huge turnoff for me because I've made so much in crypto, but I can't do anything with it right now unless I cash out, get taxed by Uncle Sam or whoever else, and then put it into the VV app. So
Yeah.
exactly, and like it's just it's really frustrating, and the fact that like you got me into VV quite early, which I'm grateful for, and the fact that like we're still early makes me a believer that this is the right step for us now, because the minute that we're able to integrate OMI into the app, or there's a way for us to cash out properly with USDT like Tether or any other crypto, it's not that we're going to be late to the game, it's just like it's going to definitely change the playing field for a lot of players.
Right. Man, that's
Mhm.
so well said. And like, I think like that's like what I was going to ask you because I really wanted to see that perspective because I know the decentralization part is huge for crypto people because like the whole purpose of crypto was for decentralization. So
Exactly.
so I know like some people are like, well, if I make a mistake or like, Vivi has my collectibles or whatever, somebody hacks my account, like those are things that, even though we have two-factor FA or two-factor authentication, I know that
Mhm.
a lot of people are still like hesitant, right? And I know that like the number one reason
Mhm.
for crypto was to get away from that kind of centralization.
Some of
So
that
it's
kind
just
of stuff, yeah.
interesting. It's really interesting to see to hear you think that, man, because I'm just
Mhm.
thinking like if we did have that, like what would the prices of these NFTs be now? Like that's
You're
something,
right, yeah.
right?
That's a very good point. What do you think the prediction is? Because I know that the VVF is working very closely with having, Ecomi like, sort of adaptable
Mhm.
to the VV app and being able to cash out through that. So are we expecting a plunge when that happens? Are we expecting this to take off? Like, what do you think?
Right. So I know that like Vivi's like they keep saying they're going to be implementing it. Supposedly, it's going to happen over the next few weeks, and I believe it's going to be going to people that are like more OGs at first, like kind of like almost like beta in a way, where people like that have a lot of gems will be like taking out their stuff first. And I do think there's going to be a dip because I know there's been some whales in this app that have like $1 million plus that are just like, man, like they need to take some profits, and there's a few things that worry me. Like I'm thinking like, okay, there's the cash out, and then simultaneously there's like maybe a bear market, and there's all these
Mhm.
things, but I see each way as a benefit, because I'm like, if it goes down so far, I'm stocking up as much as I can. uh,
Absolutely, bro. Yeah.
yeah, and I know a lot of other people that are too, and so I think they're like hoping for it. uh and at the same time, if it goes up like crazy and it doesn't come back down, then we're all still making money. So I don't really
Mhm.
see it being negative either way, like, because I think you and I are both thinking about this as
Right.
a super long-term investment. So
Mhm.
yeah, man, but I definitely think it'll be a component for sure.
For sure, for sure. And what do you think? How do you think that will impact the price of OMI if that's going to be the crypto being used for the VV app?
Right.
You mean like, are we should we be investing now? Should we be putting our fiat in, and should I be moving some of my ETH over?
Yeah, I
Do you
hear you,
think?
because it could happen at any time. I mean, I'm
Mhm.
a huge proponent for just putting in your money into Omi at any point, because I know eventually, maybe not now or maybe next week, but I know eventually,
Right.
it should get to the place that we want to. I mean, I know there's the Millionaire Club, and I know there's a lot of people that really see this going to $1. I think I'd be happy to see it go to like 30 cents long term, is kind of where my vision is. But I don't
Mhm.
know, like I don't know what the right call is on the coin. Like I know there's some big guys like Daniel Lee, Taps Trades, and a few other big YouTubers that like would focus on that aspect. But
Mhm.
for me, man, I'm all about the collectibles. I would say put it into Secret Rare Spider-Man instead.
You mean another one?
Yeah, exactly. There we go. Yeah, but what's crazy, man? Like I saw like Morgan today. He bought the number 47 Secret Rare Spider-Man, and it was like,
No way.
yeah, it's crazy, right? And it was 32 grand. And I was thinking to myself, like, like when more and more people come in that have that type of money, we're not going to be
Mhm.
seeing those things in the market, right? It's really like foreshadowing as to what's to come. Uh, and like,
Absolutely.
and when I think about like ETH, okay, like let's just say, like, what would that be equivalency, like 4 or 5 ETH for you to buy that if
Mhm.
like that was the price, right? Like I'm just thinking out loud, but
Yeah,
would that be around right?
that's a good point. No, no, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, roughly around the same price.
Like, would that be something that you
I don't
would?
know if I feel comfortable with that right now. I do see again, like I keep saying that we are early on this, and I am looking for ways because I feel like, having ETH gone 30 times now, I'm not going to be seeing those kind of returns anymore. So
I see.
you're right. You're right. Like, is this the next step? I guess so. I think it's time to eventually for me to take the plunge,
Right.
take the
Crazy.
dive into VV. Yeah. Yeah. I need to go all in on something soon.
Yeah, man, like I hear you. So I guess my question to you is like, okay, so you have all this crypto, there's been some guys that have been converting their crypto through like Telegram or through some kind of like, Discord or whatever to USDT, and then going in and purchasing the gems that way through like an escrow. And so, like, have you considered that? Like, I mean, you could probably get some gems on a discount, but I don't know, like some people think it's risky. I don't know what you think. Have you considered that?
Yeah, yeah, I have considered that. I've also considered, just giving my all my money to a homeless person, like bro,
Yeah,
like that's one of my biggest turnoffs is like I do get that you can use an escrow service, but like when you're dealing with like 3 or 4 ETH per transaction you want to do,
yeah,
I'm the type of guy that would like if I'm moving money from like an exchange to a hard wallet or like I guess an online wallet, I would send like 0.005 ETH at a time just to make sure I had that right transaction right away, make sure everything's secure. I would give up my left nut before I go through escrow service with that much Ethereum. There's no chance. There's no way I'm doing that.
okay. Are you sure? I know some pretty reputable escrows. Are you sure?
Absolutely, bro. I don't trust anyone with that kind of money. Like, there's just no chance, no chance. Like, we have to close the loop. VB has to close the loop on this stuff first before I guess any major investor wants to get involved with that kind of stuff.
And see, this is this is what I wanted to hear, man. Like, I appreciate that because, there's some people that are taking that risk and doing those gem conversions. They think it's completely safe, and they're like, yeah, I do that all the time. But there's other people like you that are like, dude, I'm not like until this is a fully finished product. I see things
Mhm.
on mutable. I can cash out. I can convert my, OMI into NFTs or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's just funny. It's good to hear that because, like, I'd imagine that was the case. Like I couldn't see somebody with like a lot of money like that just being like, yeah, let me just get all these gems and then not necessarily seeing this whole finished model yet. So thanks for that, bro. That's good to know.
Absolutely, bro. And like I said, if it was maybe a couple gems here and there, sure, why not? But when you're putting that kind of money into escrow to someone you don't trust,
Yeah.
once they have it, bro. Like
Yeah.
you
And you're
never
right.
know.
There's so many scams. Like I've seen, like even
Mhm.
when back in the early days, like people scamming people out of NFTs, scamming people out of
Mhm.
trades. So it's still not a
Yeah.
perfected system. And I could see
Mhm.
it like if you're less familiar with that stuff, like you wouldn't want to take that kind of risk. And I think the other
Mhm.
big thing is like you're invested in so many crypto projects that are really stable. And obviously Vivi, in my opinion, is super stable, but it's still up and coming. And so I could see
Mhm.
also like a hesitation to be like, I'm gonna go all in on this right now before
Mhm.
you come to fruition.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's my one big hesitation. I
Okay.
want to jump in. I'm ready to dive. I
Yeah.
got my swim trunks on. I'm on the diving board. I'm hopping up and down.
Yeah.
But I'm just too uncomfortable. Just that hesitation. Just close that loop first.
Yeah.
Work with the mutable. Make sure that our crypto can go through. Because I will not use an escrow service with that kind of money.
Yeah.
Like props to those that do it, but the reason why I have the crypto I have now is that I'm very safe with my crypto. So
Right. And yeah. I mean, and that's the whole idea behind it, right? So I mean, I get
exactly.
you. All right, that's really good to know, bro. Thanks for that.
Yeah, no worries, man.
Man, I'm just so excited because like I just think about all the young people with like a ton of crypto and like somebody like yourself, and I think about all the other guys that are like this, and I'm like, once we actually hit a beautiful and people are like, okay, you can take things off the platform, and I'm still not sure when that's going to happen because I know they talk about like they're going to take off some of the NFTs right away, but I'm like, I don't know if it's like Marvel would come off or it would stay within BB or if it would just be
Mhm.
like the decon stuff or artist stuff that comes off first. So there's still like some I wouldn't say hesitation, but just some confusion around that. So,
Yeah.
but once it's off, like, could you imagine like in your cold wallet, like offline, you have like a secret rare Spider-Man, and like you're just like, okay, like I'm gonna put that somewhere in my shelving unit, and I'll never come back to it in like 10 years. And at that point,
Mhm.
there might be like six left in the app because there's just so many guys like you that would just take it offline, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm already imagining like in 5 years there's gonna be like, like Ocean's 11, those heist movies. It's gonna be about breaking into someone's house trying to find a cold wallet to a statue, like a partner statue, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right though. Like, man,
Yeah.
and it's funny because like back in the day, I remember like when there was like 7,500 TODs, I was like, man, that's
Mhm.
so many additions. But like in the context of the world, in the context of where we are now, like with 1 million users, it's so little. And if I think about like the
So
world and
little.
all the people that would probably want like a secret rare Spider-Man or a partner statue,
Mhm.
like that could be $1 million item potentially. Like I mean, maybe I'm just like getting crazy, but I'm like, if there's that much demand and these things are that grail, like uh, I don't know,
Mhm.
it's possible.
You're right. You're right. It's there. I
Yeah.
get it before Elon Musk does. Get it before these other big players do, because once they
Yeah,
do, we're not getting our hands on it. So
yeah, it's
yeah.
true. I'm still waiting for the Elon Musk tweet to be like, that Todd looks pretty cool. Dot dot dot, and then Todd to the moon.
Imagine. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Imagine that.
he said some crazy stuff. Like I don't know if you remember back in the day with like Cardano, he was like trolling Cardano, and he had like his profile picture was like the Cardano track or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so
Those are
he's
good
yeah.
times.
But that's what I'm saying. Like we're
Yeah.
at that point now where we're seeing bigger people come in, like Andre Jake and like Lewis Morgan,
Mhm.
like a lot of these bigger YouTubers, and uh, like now we're at
Yeah.
the point where it's just a matter of time before it just like flies, man.
Takes off. You're right. You're right. You're right. So we've got a few of those, like, let's call them fiat whales that are getting involved in this right now.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
The credit card
what I
balance.
mean. This old
Yeah,
That's what I mean, man. These fiat whales, like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know how, like you said, this Lewis guy that owns Gymshark, I don't even know how he found out about this and got into it, but that
Yeah,
stuff scares me.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I don't know how he found out. Like, I feel like without you, I wouldn't have found out about this app. And I feel like the VV app already has too many users as it is, you know,
Dude,
fighting for these drops.
bro, these
So,
drops are like I think a few people came out being like they got. I think actually the CEO recently confirmed that they're going to be moving to a new type of system, like dropping system, like
mm,
lottery kind of system. So it'd be like you put in a queue because, like you're right, there's just way too many users now to even make this feasible. Like
yeah.
I got the comic drop
Hmm.
today, but I got one common, and I've never landed a secret rare ever, and I've like done every single
Hmm.
comic drop, and I know people that have
Hmm.
landed like 7 or 8 secret rares for what
Yeah.
they have like better phones or they have
I
like
don't get it.
going, yeah. And I'm like,
Yeah.
so I like the idea that there's a fair chance for everybody, you know?
Absolutely. I agree. And like even getting like a common drop, like what, $7 is a drop. You can usually flip that for 25 on the market. That's a good 4 times return. It's almost hard to see even see that in crypto these days. You know what I mean?
True.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's almost guaranteed. You get a drop at $7, you're guaranteed to at least get 3 or 4 times back. That's impossible to say with crypto.
dude, that's crazy. It's funny because somebody else said that to me today. Like, I've never seen something like a platform where like everything you buy is almost like a guaranteed return. Like if you get something on a drop, like think about like Disney. Like people got a Walt Disney statue on the drop. Like I know one guy, he got like I think like a 126 or something on the drop. And I'm like, you just made 20 grand from
Yeah.
$333. Like what like where else in the
Did he
world?
hold on to it though? Hopefully he held on.
I hope so. I mean he might have sold it, but maybe we
Yeah.
buy it off of him. But yeah.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, you see a lot of people like tweeting about Bitcoin when it was worth like 60 cents. You know, saying how like that one famous person that bought pizza with like, I don't know, 30 Bitcoin back in the day. How much that's worth now? You know what I mean? Like people are probably just regretting it. So
Yeah.
you're right. You're right. We are early. Like these things are worth whatever it is now on the app. But once we get, more scalability, they change like the drop process. OMI is, integrated into it. I still think we're very early,
Yeah,
you know?
you're right. We're
Hmm.
early, yeah, 100%. And I mean, NFTs are like, most people I talk to don't even know what an NFT is. And then I'm like, okay, so you don't know what an
Hmm.
NFT is. Then you have to then make the stretch to be like, do you know what a VV NFT is? And then on
Hmm.
top of that, even if you're invested into VV, it doesn't mean you're particularly smart at investing in it. So then you have to be like
Yeah.
intelligent within the VV space to be able to make like mega money. So like that to me is like very
Hmm.
early because there's still so many people that are in here that are like, oh, I just bought this, lumpy space princess, like, and I'm just like, I mean, that's great if you're collecting, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't mean that everything's going to go up in value long term. So,
For
yeah,
sure.
right. But yo, Mark, I just want to say, man, like I wanted to introduce you to everybody because obviously you and I are good friends. I know you've been supporting the channel. You've been on VV since March, just like me, and so you might be
Hmm.
a lot more of this guy soon enough. So yeah, buddy, thanks for coming on, bro.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on. Thank you for introducing me to Vivi for my first Todd ever. Can't thank you enough. And to anyone watching, hopefully you see more of me because I know I'm a crypto whale, but I'm hoping to be an NFT VV whale very soon. So
I like that. A good transition. So yeah.
absolutely, bro.
All right, listen, Mark.
Thanks for having me on, dude.
Of course, talk to you soon, brother.